Hi and welcome to Movies Suck. Well, today I have yet some more news that sucks. I'm sure you're all at home thinking to yourself, I wonder what's going on in Hollywood at the minute that would suck really, really badly. So badly that you would all think, Jesus Christ, what's that, goddamn lemon? Yes, Disney want you to suck lemons again. Because they have decided they need to reboot the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise for some reason. Incidentally, a reboot doesn't seem like a bad idea at this point. I mean, they've made, 5 movies out of this. So it kind of makes sense to want to start redoing it, but it's just too soon. It's too soon for a reboot. And you know what they're thinking when they say reboot. They mean replacement. Or swap is another word. Now, what could they be thinking about replacing? Or swapping? What about the Pirates of the Caribbean movies could do with replacing or swapping in this gender diverse intersectional age? I wonder what it could be. Well, let's have a look at this story that I found online. Here we go. So, Disney eyes Avengers star Karen Gillan for female lead in Pirates of the Caribbean reboot. That's right. They've decided they're going to get rid of Johnny Depp and, replace him with a woman. Because that makes perfect sense when you're thinking about making pirate movies. Not to say there weren't female pirates, there actually were female pirates. And this is obviously all fantasy anyway, since it's based on a theme park ride. But still, replacing Johnny Depp with Karen Gillan. Now, I really liked Karen Gillan in the Jumanji movies. She was very good. She was my favourite character in the first Jumanji movie. But I just don't see this working. In any case, let's read the story. It's been a couple of years since rumours started floating around that Disney was looking to reboot its Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, but there was always somewhat of a question mark over what that would mean for Johnny Depp's Captain Jack Sparrow. It finally looks as though we could see the return of the iconic films, but this time the studio is said to be in search of a female lead. Of course it is. This is modern Hollywood. Let's forget about, 2003. That was old Hollywood. That was old, forgotten about, dead white man Hollywood. That was the Hollywood just brought you great movies. We don't need that Hollywood. Let's face it. Female leads back then didn't matter. There were a lot of female-led films. But that doesn't matter anymore because we've forgotten about them. They were irrelevant. It was all white men. That's all. That's the only characters that mattered in Hollywood up until 2016, or was it 2014 when the shit hit the fan? I usually think of it as being 2016 when things went really, really, really wrong. Nevertheless, I like Karen Gillan, and I was actually looking forward to seeing her in more action-orientated roles, but I don't want to see her replacing Johnny Depp's Captain Jack Sparrow. I don't want to see her do that. I mean, that is an iconic character. Pirates of the Caribbean is Captain Jack Sparrow, the artful nutcase, the drunken, slothful, psychotic, laughably amazing Captain Jack Sparrow. The guy was amazing, and Johnny Depp played him to perfection as a drunk Englishman. Really, really amazing. Now they want to just get rid of him because, he's white, he's a man, he's not a woman. That's just not good enough these days, is it? Even if you are making action movies. It's reported that insider Daniel Rickman said Disney is going for an alternative reboot style, and one name floating around as favourite is Jumanji The Next Level star Karen Gillan. I mean, that would be incredible. I'm not saying no, it wouldn't be good. I'm just saying that I really like her, but I really like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies the way they are. Is there much point in rebooting something that was perfectly good as is? Alright, they want to make more money, because this is Disney and all they care about is money. Star Wars has already suffered that fate, and it looks like the Pirates of the Caribbean is going to go the same way. Can you imagine what the stories are going to be like? Can you imagine how many gay, intersectional, transsexual, super strong, amazing, perfect Mary Sues will be in these movies? I can imagine it. I think they're going to be as full of faults as Captain Jack Sparrow. I somehow think that they probably won't be. According to this insider, her name was first mentioned last year. However, it's currently unknown whether any formal talks have taken place. The insiders also report, however, that the studio may be on the hunt for a woman of colour to fulfill the role. while details of the character herself remain unknown. A woman of colour, that makes so much more sense, doesn't it? Because, Karen Gillan's white. And we all know white isn't a colour. So that's just completely wrong. Just because she's got red hair and is actually a very, very strong minority because she has red hair, that doesn't matter because her skin colour, it's kind of white. That's not really allowed anymore. Just like all those white men that they're trying to kick out the door. Oh dear God, why are they trying to do this? It doesn't make any sense at all. Especially a woman of colour pirate. I mean, they must realise the Pirates of the Caribbean is based on, that kind of 15th, 16th century pirate tradition was mostly white people that were actually the pirates. That's just history for you. There is some speculation that the film could be centred around Red, a popular female pirate who is featured in the Disney park attraction and is a meet and greet character. Now this is an interesting one, because the character of Red is actually the Redhead, who was originally, on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, a woman that was captured in the invasion of El Dorado, or whatever the name of the town is, and was being sold off as a wife to the pirates. She was being auctioned off, and she was flirting with the men and that sort of thing anyway. But they upgraded her character in 2017, at least an upgrade as far as the intersectionals, feminists, and all that woke bollocks is concerned, so that she became a pirate herself. Rather than just being, the object of the pirate's desire, she became a pirate herself. Because that's what you do when you get all woke. No more, selling women. Just because that went on from 1963 when that ride was created until 2017. So it had a good lot of history, and it would have been nice to go see it as is. Why change things that aren't broken? But no, that wasn't good enough for them. That's sexist. We don't care about your history. Change it. So that's where the character of Red has come from. And do we care? No, not really. But Karen Gillan would certainly fit that role a lot better than, say, someone who isn't a redhead, which would be all black people. But nevertheless, this is Disney for you, and this is Hollywood. So expect it to be woke, expect it to be bollocks, expect them not to care about your fandom. Because they don't care about that. Just look at Star Wars. They don't care about the fans. They don't give a shit. All they care about is money. And the reason they care about this so much is because the Johnny Depp films have been losing money over the years. Since the first movie, and then they got to the height of, I think it was the third movie in the series, Dead Man's Chest, they've not really made as much money. They're only making 200 or 300 million. That's just not good enough anymore. We need big bucks, like the original film, which cost, $120 million to make and made $630 million at the box office. So they had a profit of, who knows, like 400 million. That sort of thing is good enough for Disney, but, it has to stay that way. You can't go losing it. So what they're thinking is that they're going to have a lower budget for this movie because they don't have to pay the actors as much, because they're not going to have famous actors that demand a lot of money, and keep their costs down, but still hope that they're going to get exactly the same money as they would have got if they'd had Johnny Depp. Now, who believes that's even close to being likely? I mean, have a look over here. This is Johnny Depp's numbers, and it says here, best known as a leading actor based on credits in that role in 40 movies. He's made over 40 films as the leading man. He's made an accumulated $8,283,095,829 worldwide from his box office receipts. Now, let's have a look at Karen Gillan, best known as a lead ensemble member actress, based on credits in that role in 6 films. Or those films aggregated $7,641,986,657. See, that sounds like a huge amount of money. That's almost as much as Johnny Depp has made in his movies. He's made $8 billion and $8.2 billion, and she's made like $7.6 billion. She's only been in 6 movies as a lead actress, but none of that money was made in any of the movies in which she was, the lead actress. I mean, let's have a look. So, The Call of the Wild, her most recent movie, she actually played a very small character in that, but still. The domestic box office was $62 million. Worldwide, $107 million. That's a lot of money, but of course the movie cost somewhere up to $140 million to make in the first place. Add on the advertising budget, that film is in the red for at least $100 million. So, flop. Spies in Disguise. I think that was about a $100 million budget. Made 166, so yeah, probably a bit of a flop. I think it actually isn't a flop. I think it did make some money, but still. Then Jumanji, where she was with a load of other very famous actors, so she was part of an ensemble cast. She wasn't leading that movie, she was just part of it. In fact, it was The Rock who was pretty much leading that movie. And then you've got Jack Black, another great character. And then people like Danny Glover was in it. Some really cool actors in that movie, and she was in it too. So we'd have to, divide all that money up among the actors. So she's really only made, 100 million out of that one. So that's not very bankable, is it? And then something that no one's ever heard of called Stuber, which made no money. And if we go further down, here's where the big bucks come in. She was Nebula in Avengers Endgame. That made, nearly 3 billion. And then you got Avengers Infinity War, made 2 billion. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, the first one, nearly 1 billion. Guardians of the Galaxy, nearly 1 billion. No point in any of these movies was she the lead character. She was an important character, but she was not the lead. She did not drag the film forward with her own performance. Johnny Depp, on the other hand, he is the lead character in just about every film he's been in. And I'm pretty sure he's been paid more for being in any of the films that he's been in because he is a big draw. Not every film he's made has made money. Some have been flops. Everyone has flop movies. But he's a big name. He can make big money. Would you get the same money out of Karen Gillan if she was doing Pirates of the Caribbean? Of course you wouldn't. I'm always interested to see Karen Gillan in movies. I think she's a great actress. I'm looking forward to seeing her other roles. But can she take over for Pirates of the Caribbean? Can any woman take over Pirates of the Caribbean? I'm really not into this idea. I really don't think this is going to go well. If they want to create a new film series, maybe call it something else and carry on from there. Do we really need a female Pirates of the Caribbean movie? And get rid of Captain Jack Sparrow, the main draw for those movies? The reason that people watch those movies in the first place, to see Johnny Depp acting like a crazy drunken Englishman? Well, let's finish the story anyway. It's claimed that the studio bagged Chernobyl creator Craig Mazin and Ted Elliott, who wrote the previous films in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, back in October in a bid to find a new direction for the hugely popular films. There's been word of this reboot going around since about 2018, I think summer 2018, just because the last Johnny Depp Pirates of the Caribbean movie didn't make quite as much money as Disney wanted it to make. I mean, let's have a look. Let's see, 2017. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, made $788 million worldwide. On a budget, I believe, was somewhere around $240 million. Add advertising onto that, so it's probably $500 million, so it's only made around coming up for $300 million. That's not good enough for Disney these days. Do you think that Karen Gillan's movie would make that much money? On a budget of $100 million? Disney are hedging their bets. They think that they'll make more than $300 million or so that Johnny Depp is making on the last film. If they wrote a good film, it would make a lot of money. Trouble is, this is the law of diminishing returns, isn't it? They made great movies to start with, but then they run out of ideas, people get lackluster, they can't be bothered to put as much effort into it. Johnny Depp starts to feel like a caricature of himself, or a caricature of his own character, so people get a bit tired of it. And I don't think they're going to get any less tired, simply because they rebooted it again, and gender swapped everyone, and race swapped everyone. I don't see this turning out well, but this is Disney for you. They ruined Star Wars, they'll ruin everything. Insiders also say that Jerry Bruckheimer and Chad Oman will produce the reboots, although a director is still to be signed. While there have been rumours the newest installment could go straight to Disney Plus like several other films, it is now being reported that the $100 million budget movie will be made for theatrical release. See, $100 million is not a hell of a lot for a theatrically released movie. And obviously they're thinking that they won't have to pay Johnny Depp 20-odd million for being in it, plus probably some sort of back end. So they're thinking we can save a lot of money there without him. We'll just pay, Karen Gillan about $1 million or something, and she'll do the movie for us, and we're making big bucks. You probably still won't make more than, 400 million, if you're lucky. I can only see this movie going downhill now that you've included a feminist agenda. You're specifically looking to have a feminist agenda in the movie. You haven't even written the movie yet, but you will decide it's going to have a girl. You could have written the movie first, and then thoughts about maybe swapping the character to a girl and see how well that works once you have the script. But this is Hollywood for you. Hollywood only care about agenda, and their agenda is intersectional feminism. It's pretty sickening. Insiders also said a return for Depp is unlikely given that the film is a reboot. When asked back in 2018, Sean Bailey, president of Walt Disney Motion Picture Production, avoided speaking directly about whether Depp would be involved. Of course he's not going to be involved. I am surprised he made that many sequels. He usually makes very indie-type movies. But he bit the bullet and went for a big franchise in this case. And it paid off for him. He's done very, very, very well out of it. One of the most bankable stars in Hollywood. But doesn't look like they trust him anymore. And why is that? Why could it be that they've decided they don't like Johnny Depp? And they don't want Johnny Depp to make all that money for them again? Why could that be? This is such a tough question, isn't it? Especially when you're an intersectional, feminist, psycho nutcase in Hollywood. What could be called? Yes, Amber Heard. That was it. Yes, his wife who's decided to lie and cheat and try to get him hated by Hollywood by claiming he attacked her and other such bullshit. Yeah, Hollywood, 2020. No white men, intersectionals, feminists, going downhill badly, and it's dragging the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise down with it. Star Wars has already gone down the plug hole. What's another franchise when you're a billion-dollar corporation that, well, basically owes massive amounts of money and is struggling to pay it off and is now having to take out loans to pay off their debts or to pay off the interest on their debts? It's getting pretty bad. I can easily see Disney going completely down the pan, and honestly, I really don't care if they do. It will be no loss to the world of filmmaking. Maybe the world of cinematic cartoons. Maybe they should have stuck with that. That's what happens, especially when you decide to jump on an agenda that the world doesn't support. Anyway, they say, Sean Bailey said, "We want to bring in a new energy and vitality. I love the Pirates movies, but part of the reason Paul and Rhett are so interesting is that we want to give it a kick in the pants, and that's what I've tasked them with. It's no surprise they're so keen to get the ball rolling again, given the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise is one of the most financially successful of all time, amassing $4.5 billion at the worldwide box office. Yes, it is massively successful, based on one character, Captain Jack Sparrow, a character that you want to take out of this new reboot. And you can't reboot this with him, because in everyone's minds, Captain Jack Sparrow is Johnny Depp. So you can't do that again with him if you're going to reboot it. The most sensible thing to do would just be to create some sort of sequel, or perhaps a prequel. But that wouldn't fit the woke Hollywood agenda. So it looks like it's bye-bye Pirates of the Caribbean. It's nice knowing you. This is Movies Sucks and Hollywood Sucks. Hollywood sucks bad. Signing out. Leave a like, share, subscribe. I will catch you guys on the flip side.